Hello again and welcome back to another episode of the Final Flight podcast. We're here again for another preview and finally he's made it on this time round. Racing Gav, good evening mate, thanks for joining us. How are you tonight?
Yeah, I'm all good. Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Good man, like I say, we tried to get you on last time but your car had a bit of an issue, but finally got you on and we're looking forward to getting stuck into the racing, so thanks for coming on mate and chilling out with us tonight. Rich, Joe, we had a good show on Monday night, obviously, with Darragh O'Keefe. Gave us a load of nice little nuggets, a little bit of an update on Gentleman's Game, that sort of thing. Rich, have you had a decent week so far?
Yeah, it's going all right, isn't it? I mean, 4 weeks till Cheltenham now, so yeah, let's go.
Yeah, we're building up nicely, Joe, aren't we, mate? And I'm starting to get the blood starting to pump a little bit harder as we build up to Cheltenham, mate. You looking forward to it?
Yeah, 100%. We're starting to get little bits of news creeping in as well, aren't we? Factor File, Iraq, all that type of stuff's coming out now. Markets are shortening.
Don't mention his name.
So yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, I can't wait. And another good weekend's racing.
Yeah, like I say, all systems go for Cheltenham, but we do have a very good weekend this weekend with the Ascot Chase weekend and Haydock. So without further ado, lads, we're going to get stuck straight into it. Who's this that's come on here in the chat? Cheltenham Exchange lads are on. Cheers, mate. Good to see you. Racing Gav. Yeah, he's a good lad. Finally got him on, and I'm going to get his opinion on this first race, and he's going to kick us off. So, if I can get me send organised with me banners that I'm getting... Oh, I've done the wrong thing, haven't I? Never mind. The Ascot Novice Hurdle, then, the 1:15. First race at Ascot, Gav. Talk to me then. Heidi Woods in here, in the waterside. Phantom of the Points. I've not got this in order for some reason. But yeah, have you managed to have a look at this race? You're going to kick us off with a big juicy winner. Come on.
Yeah, so I've had a look. It's always a little bit tricky, isn't it? Because I think they haven't got prices up for this one, whereas they have for some of the others. So you're kind of guessing at where the value would be. But the two that stood out to me, the first one was in the waterside. So yeah, I absolutely love that horse. He's an absolute monster. I think he's at over 17 hands, I think Nichols has said before. He's going to be a 3 mile chaser down the line. And hopefully a very good one. But he impressed me. The fact that he's built like a 3 mile chaser, he won his bumper, even won a second bumper under a penalty. He beat the well-touted Jaguar on hurdle debut, had a subsequent winner in behind. And there was talk of him being their kind of shallow hurdle horse. He didn't go for the race. They kind of dropped him in trip on good ground, which was never going to suit. But he wasn't beaten that far, really. And it was behind Doddy the Great, who ran a great fourth in the Betfair. Junkanoo, who's won since. They stepped him back up in trip last time on soft ground and he won sort of readily. And yeah, he looks a really smart horse. And the fact that they're just coming for something like this rather than going for Cheltenham, it just shows that they really do love this horse and they're kind of just bringing him on quietly. So yeah, he was the standout one. The other one that caught my eye, because with this, they've obviously got the penalties, haven't they? So I think he's given £8 away to some of the others. And some of them are giving away £5. So at the sort of the bottom of the weights as such, with no penalty, was that Pick Rock for Ben Paulin. So I know Ben Paulin likes the horse a lot, and he actually fancied him to beat Jaguar at that abandoned Doncaster meeting. And he was only beaten 3/4 of a length by JP McManus' horse. He looked cosily, but Pick Rock made a mistake at the last and kind of lost all his momentum. So yeah, you would just think if it wasn't for that error, he might have won that race. He would have been coming here with a penalty. Instead, he's coming here with sort of no penalty. And he was also fifth in that race with Gidley Park, Firefly, East India Express, which is all kind of working out nicely. So yeah, getting weight from those market principles, he could be an interesting one.
Yeah, I love that. I think there's some really nice points there. Like I say, I mean, we've obviously got the Jaguar forming here within the waterside. I mean, I'll come to you, Joe, if you want. It's hard to get away from in the waterside, but like Gav says there, he's got to give a decent amount of weight away to a few of these. So where did you head towards, or are you going to stick with that sort of form line there?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with that form line, mate. We all know they really like Jaguar, and when Josh was on the other week, he said that they thought a lot of this horse. So obviously, that was a good performance. Like Gav said, the Ascot 1 mile 7.5 was never going to suit on good ground, was it? And that last performance at Lingfield over the extended 2 mile 3 was probably. It was a lot more comfortable than the two and a quarter lengths. I think he went a lot further ahead, and then he come back to them, and he looked like he was going to get reeled in. He just found more, and in the end, he was very comfortable at the line. He looks like he wants further, but like Gav said there, for me, keeping him, it's a class 2 novice still, but it's not. He's not going to Cheltenham. He's not going for the hustle and bustle, is he? like I say, I think they're going to keep him ticking on. I think they don't know he's going to win this race, but I feel like it's an ideal race to keep him ticking on and win and boost his credentials for next season. But yeah, for me, I just can't really get away from him, to be honest. The form looks decent. The trip looks good for him. If there's any more juice in the ground, that looks okay. For me, I think he will take the beating.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I mean, I'll come to you, Rich. We've obviously, like I said there, the race was at Aintree in your Waterside beat Jaguar when the hurdles were taken out. That could have probably been reversed if the hurdles would have been kept in. He's obviously run well since then, and obviously looks like he definitely prefers this trip. Ivy Wood's in there. I'm not sure I'd be on sort of him. I thought the one that I can never pronounce, well, the one that I like going for also I can't pronounce, but Buxy Des appears, I probably absolutely butchered that. But for Charlie Doyce and Vanessa Williams, I thought he was quite an interesting runner. I kind of maybe sauntered towards him. He fell at the first in that race in the Waterside one last time. And I thought, he's got pretty decent form. His form's been franked by that Ilike de Cop for Skeletons who won the other day. So I quite like him against getting a bit of weight from him in the Waterside. He was giving weight to him the race where he fell. He's getting weight this time. Obviously, in the Waterside has won that and gone up. But I quite like him with Charlie Doyce on. So I'm just thinking, I'm interested to see what you're thinking and where you're landing on, mate.
Yeah, I'll try not to repeat what the other guys have said. In the Waterside sets a standard. Didn't just drop back in trip and then bolted up back up to 2 miles 4, I think it was, 2 miles 3. My outside shot, though, I've gone for the Skeletons. Juventus De Bron, is it?
An outside shot, Rich? Are you feeling all right tonight?
Yeah.
You feeling okay?
In the Waterside is my pick, but just to throw something a bit different in there is the one of the Skeletons horses. So he finished third last time out at, where was it? Exeter, to a horse called Alicido of Venetia Williams. Obviously, the names aren't my strong.
Yeah, we'll call it that. Whatever you just said, that's fine, yeah.
But that was over 2 miles. He was held out at the back and he finished late with the run, staying on. So I think the step up to 2 miles 3 is probably going to suit. Alcido finished second to that Mount Fuji Park for John Joe O'Neill's, who I think they kind of think is quite a decent horse. So I think that's quite a good, decent yardstick. So he's probably one that I'd give a shout to. But like I said, there's no price, so I can't even see if he's going to be some sort of each way value or out.
Fair enough, mate. Like I said, there's normally price on. I don't really know why they got it priced up yet, but some nice shouts for that one there. Nice one to kick us off. Josh is on. He says, "Evening, fellas. Pod is on. Domino's ordered. Come on."
I'll tell you what, Vossi loves the Domino's.
He certainly does, mate. Nice. Good evening, Vossi, my friend. Right then, moving on. The Kingwell Hurdle. I've put them in time order for Saturday this time round, so we're going to skip over to Wincanton. Into Goshen's race. He's obviously in here at 7-1. Guide Your Dreams 7-1 with Tom Bellamy on. Nemean Line, I don't know why I've done this backwards, but Nemean Line 7-2, Rubbard and Colonel Mustard. Come on then, Rich, I'll come to you this time round. Are you piling into Goshen for his third Kingwell Hurdle, or do you think he gets beat this time round, mate?
1 second, you throw me off mixing up the times.
Well, I've done them in time order. I sent you them in time order, so I thought
you missed out the 150. You missed out the 150 Ascot.
Yeah, the Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's because my banners are mixed up. Hang on.
That's why you threw me. I was like, we're not doing the Ascot one.
Right, so we're going to head over to Ascot. We're going to go back in time. That's because I've not done them in order. Right then, Ascot 150, the Reynolds Novices Chase. The Nemesis is back, Joe. Apple Away's in here as favourite. Kilbeg King for the Honeyball team. Brave Kingdom, Henry's Friend, the King of Rye Hope. I'm going to come to you then, Rich. Are you ready for it? Since you're ready for it, pal. Apple Away. Does she win this?
I don't know. She probably should, given the fact she got the weight allowance against some of these. It's a good little race. Like I like Brave Kingdom, winner at Newbury last time out over 2 miles 7. Beat the Theatre Man, and then finished 2 3/4 lengths behind Ginny's Destiny for Nichols, who I think is quite a nice horse. You got Kilbeg King, who finished third in the King George. I think that's quite decent, but yeah.
Finished third in the what, sorry?
Third in the King George.
The Cato Star, wasn't it?
He's done well to finish in the King George there.
Oh,
to
one
say he's not
second.
running. You mean
King
Yeah,
George
it
Mate.
probably was actually. Yeah, looking at this.
the Francais race, not the
That's the one.
King George, mate. Sorry, mate. I didn't mean to make
No,
fun
it's
of you.
all right. He also finished third to Rocco, so that's quite strong form, as we know. But yeah, I mean, if Apple raise any sort of aspirations of winning something decent, then she should be winning this, in my opinion, just given the fact that she's rated 141, she gets the mare's allowance. She's second highest rated. Yeah, I think this is probably hers for the taking.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you mentioned there, Kilbeg King's been third behind some nice horses, albeit pretty well beaten. Probably over trips a little bit too short for him as well. Apple Away, we've spoke plenty of time about her. I don't think she's quite up to the top level, but looking at this sort of race, I do struggle to move away from her. I can't believe I'm even saying this, but I do think she's probably going to win this, but she'll probably get it all her own way. I'll come to you, Gav, mate. I mean, we've obviously been against Apple Away every single day of the week. She's been beaten, obviously, a few times, Grey Dawn and that sort of thing. What do you think? Do you think this is the type of race where she could probably win this rather than the biggies later on?
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. To be honest, I'm kind of in the same camp of I don't really like her. But it's one of those that they just found a winnable race for, haven't they, by the looks of it. She just looks the standout pick. She's kind of one of the highest on rating. She's obviously getting the £7 mare's allowance as well. To be fair to her, she thumped that Making Your Mind Up, who's gone on and won since. And then the other couple of times she's bumped into Grey Dawn, and I don't think there's a great deal of shame in getting thumped by him. Grade 1 win at Aintrie's worked out well. But yeah, at 6-4, I don't like her. She probably should win, but I wouldn't be backing her. And then, yeah, there's that Kilbeg King, isn't there, at 10-3. And I just thought he might be flattered by his finishing position in the Cape of Star, because Hermes Allen was trying to go with Ile Francais, wasn't he? And he was probably a 2.5 miler, and he was up to 3 miles because Napa's Hill was out. Tighten Bouts didn't jump well. Marble Sands was jumping out to the left. Giovink obviously had just an off day. So yeah, I think it was a Superstar won it. It kind of fell apart other than that, and it finished third, but it wouldn't be form that would kind of set me alight. So yeah, for me, Apple's Jade would win it, but I wouldn't be backing her at 6-4.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the key thing you said there was they found a winnable race for her. I think it's definitely one of them where she's not going to win at the top level, but I think this is the one where she'll probably win this, and Connections can have a decent day out. Joe, are you going on Apple Away for this?
Yeah, mate, 100%. I think there's
John's on. John's
there he is.
Hang on. John says, "Come on, the Apple." Yeah, I'm sure she'll win, John.
Yeah, John. If you've got anything to tell us, let us know. But yeah, I think Gav's hit the nail on the head there. Obviously, I was there at Haydock, a first chase start, and it was not thrown in the deep end, but they all said that didn't really suit, to be honest. And then obviously they took her to Leicester. She won easily. You can't really read into that beat, Making Your Mind Up by 31 lengths. And we don't really know how good Grey Dawning is, but obviously I know Broadway Boy as well. Apparently he's had ulcers.
You must think he's good, Joe. You've just put him up on Monday for Browns. Can't say that after putting him up. You don't know how good he is.
But yeah, I just think she should be winning this. Like Richard, if she's got any aspirations of going on to do, and you probably would say better than this. I mean, if she doesn't win this, it is a disappointment because, a lot of them had Cheltenham targets in mind at the start of the season. I think things just haven't worked out for her this season in terms of the races she's been put in, the races that have come up. And I remember, was she a non-runner at Wetherby at the start of the season, and that sort of got everything to pot?
Through preparation out a bit, didn't it?
Yeah, Wetherby was called off, then they went to Haydock, and it just wasn't right for ever since. But they seem to be getting her back on track now, and I think if they win this, they might. For me, anyway, I think they may target Aintree and skip Cheltenham. I mean, you don't know that, but that's my opinion anyway. But yeah, I think she'll win this, but I won't be backing her at that price.
No, that's fair, cop, mate. That's fair enough. Fingers crossed for John's sake. She goes and wins and wins well. I'll just throw a couple of these comments up. John's what's he put here? He's put, "You should be too good for these. Ultimate likely target." Oh, interesting. Thought not the most chasing. Fair enough. I thought yeah, it's interesting. Is that Racing Ellis has been on? Evening, Ellis, mate. Evening, lads. Not even been through Saturday's racing, to be honest. Carlton and Co will win tomorrow, though. Oh, nice little taste of one there from Ellis. Cheers, mate. Thanks for tuning in. Right then, so we're going to go to the 4 o'clock on Sunday. Oh, the jokes are rolling in, lads, honestly. Can't believe you're not all laughing your heads off. The Kingwell Hurdle then at Wincanton. Are you all right with this one, Rich? Are you all right? Is this the right one?
Yeah, we're back in order now. I'm fine.
Fantastic. Colonel Mustard, then Rowboard, Nemean Line, Goshen, Guard Your Dreams. It's your turn to go first, Joe. Where have you landed on this?
Robards got some decent form this season, but I am going to go for Colonel Mustard. Got a lot of decent form in Ireland, and she's running some decent handicaps. And she ran at Ayr, and she was 3 lengths behind Robard that day, and carrying £6 more. And I just think it is very interesting that they've brought her back here. Daryl's on, getting weight off Robard this time. So there is a massive weight swing. I believe she's getting. Has he
lost his bits? Has he lost his bits?
No, sorry, he's getting £6 this time. So it's roughly from that Ayr handicap. You're looking at £12. The jockey that day took off £3, but for me, I think Daryl's on. Coming here. Yeah, I just like this one. For me, Robard, ran in some good races, but a lot of the time you can see, I know Gav mentioned it there, their Le Francais race, Hermes Allen went with him all the way in the race, sort of caught, and a lot of horses that finished closer, were not written for places, but couldn't go with the early pace. Hermes Allen's come back to them. And that's sort of the way I look at that. And I think Colin Mustard, we haven't seen the best of him yet. I think, again, good placement. Yeah, for me, I can't really trust Goshen at all. And Naaman Lion, for me, he's a handicapper. It's definitely between the top two, and I've just gone Colonel Mustard.
No, that's fair enough. It's interesting, like I say, seeing him back over hurdles. Gav, then, I mean, it's a tight little race, maybe between them top two, or do you think Goshen can spring a surprise?
Yeah, for me, it was Colonel Mustard as well. I completely agree with Joe. And it was the same form as well that interested me. They met in that Scottish Champion Hurdle. And I think I worked out to be like £17 better off that Colonel Mustard is for a 3-length defeat. Obviously, there was the jockey claim, which you can take off that. But yeah, it's just a huge swing in the weights. To be fair to Rhubarb, he did hit the last that day and found more at the finish. And he's only 6. He could still be improving. Obviously, it's kind of Paul Nicholls' backyard, isn't it, Wincanton? So you have to respect him there. But I just thought the prices, I think 11-4 for Colonel Mustard would be the bet for me. And it's one of those that they've been quite unlucky with the horse. I think they tried to get a little bit greedy last year because they had that bonus, didn't they? If you won the more battle and then went and won at Cheltenham, you'd get the extra money. They went there. I think the horse was second, I think, off the top of my head, sustained like an overreach and missed Cheltenham, ironically. And then that's where they met at Ayr afterwards. So, yeah, you think that there's probably a big handicap in him. And you just think that this could well be it. And it's trying to find, obviously, the best value for their money, isn't it? And I think it's over 40 grand for the winner. Yeah, I think when you get in the kind of the weight swing of £6, and like we said, up at Ayr, it was the other way round, that looks the obvious choice for me.
Yeah, I think you're both coming up with the points that are quite solid. I'll let you go, Rich. I'm feeling we might all be on the same page with this one, to be honest.
I'm going to give Goshen one last chance.
Oh, no, you can't be. No way.
I just think it's 6-1. He's just one of them horses where he'll do nothing all season and he'll just spring that one win. And I think it could be in this. I mean, he's been racing. I mean, he ran over 3 miles last time and came 9th. But like you say, he ran in the fight in 5th. He looked like he was going to go and win that. But I'm just reading here, he hit 3 out. And probably that just knocked all his momentum out of him. I mean, yeah, he's been racing in some decent races. I just think this is a drop down in class for him. Like, he should be beating some of these easily. Yeah, I'm just going to give him a chance at the price. 6-1. Yeah, one last shot at Goshen. I
think you're absolutely crackers, mate. I'm going to side with the lads. I think Colonel Mustard, I think his form's decent, like I say. He's been behind the likes of Stateman, found a 50. He's back over hurdles. The weight swings there. I think Darryl Jacobs been riding pretty well lately. He did me over the other day on one. I can't remember the name of it now, but Fun. I thought the ride was great. He stole that race, and I think he's riding pretty well. I think he'll get the best of Lorcan Williams in this race, and I think Colonel Mustard's for me as well. So that's 3 for him and 1 for Goshen. You absolute madman, Rich.
The bit I love about that is the fact that it's took him this long to try blinkers on him for the first time. Like, you think of all the issues he's had, you would have thought they might have tried it now. But you never know. It might be the winning.
That could be the key. We just don't know.
To be fair, I don't think anyone knows with that horse, do they? I mean, I think everyone's had a go at trying to work out left-handed, right-handed. Well, I know he struggles one way, but left-handed, right-handed, ground, track. But you can't get him right, can you?
He's a bit of a legend, though. He's that quirky. He's just bound to just bolt up at some point, and it could be Saturday.
To be fair, he's one of those horses that even if everyone had backed against him, if he won, everyone would cheer him home, wouldn't they? He's just, you'd love to see it. To be fair, I thought he might win at Sandown when he was over 2 miles. The thing that put me off tomorrow was the fact that it's 1 mile, 7.5 or so, isn't it? And its wing canton's quite sharp. So I just thought he might lack a bit of pace for them. But
it is heavy conditions, though. I think that's going to help him.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Giorgio, didn't he? Said he loves the heavy. So I mean, it's a 5-horse race. You know, they've all got a chance. I just think it'll be tough for him, but if he goes and wins, we'll cheer him on anyway, and you can get the bears in with your winnings, Rich. Right then, lovely. Next one then, Ascot. Back to Ascot for the 225. This is a tasty little handicap hurdle. This over 2 mile 3 furlongs. You've got Rare Edition in here as favourite currently, albeit it's 11-2. Bad is in here and also back plenty of times. Monville, Rambo T, Irish Hill, 10-1 bigger the rest. Go on then, Gav, mate. It's a lovely little handicap. This plenty of opportunities. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so speaking of horses that are a pain in the arse, I've gone one for one here is Irish Hill. So he's 9-1, but he definitely sort of caught my eye in here. So he won a Class 2 handicap hurdle over the course and distance in February last year, 1-2-8. He struggled since, but he's shown more at Newbury, a couple of runs back, and then he sort of led the Lanzarote hurdle, turning in, but didn't quite get home over sort of 2 mile 5. So yeah, he's back to 2 mile 3.5 round Ascot off a mark of 1.25, so £3 lower than that course and distance win. They put Freddie Gingell on, who takes off another 5, so he's like £8 lower than his last win. He's racing off 10 stone, £2 as a result. With sort of Freddie's claim, obviously he's riding well. He obviously won the Clarence House among other wins sort of recently. It's just a bit of a Goshen moment where you've just got to trust he's in the mood. But if he is off that mark and that weight, he must have a massive chance. And the other one that's dropped hugely as well, that did catch my eye, might be worth sort of small saver, was Soaring Glory. So he's 16-1. Obviously won the Betfair hurdle off 133. Won a couple of runs later at Ascot off 143 and actually went up to 149. He's had a couple of issues. He's had some spells on the sidelines, and he's tumbled all the way down to 132. And yeah, if they could get him to bounce back, he'd be incredibly dangerous off that mark.
Yeah, I love that. There's 2 nice darts there. I think it's like I say, you've got to try and keep an eye on what's in it. I'll come to you, Rich. I mean, I might end up just going off a cliff with Bad, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But what are you thinking in here? Rare Edition is probably a fair favourite with Cobden on board.
Yeah, so Rare Edition's one I looked at. Obviously, Cobden is going for the title, so he'll not be
backing him blind.
He'll not be riding many bad ones, I assume, this weekend. But yeah, I've picked out Bad as well for this. I'm quite keen on him this time.
You do well to be keen on him.
He's down to a mark of 122. Obviously, when you're riding the Boodles, he was off 126, and everybody, for some reason, just backed him into a 5-1 shot on his UK debut. He came 13th in the end, so not a lot to shout home about. But he's a previous winner in France over 2 miles 2 furlongs. Third last time out, Ascot over 1 mile 7, so he's back up in trip here. He was second at Newbury over 2 miles and was 3/4 of the length behind Gary Moore's Hansard. Yeah. Who won rated 138. In third was Brentford Hope, rated 133. So he split some nice horses there. And that was when Ben Jones was on board. He's back on board here. And I think he's quite a good each way shout. I think he's about 7s, 8-1. So yeah, I'd give him a shout.
Yeah, and I mean, he's had a wind operation as well, don't forget. So they obviously maybe thought he weren't finishing off his races too well. So it might just be worth just giving him one more chance. I mean, it's, you're talking not much of a bet, to be honest. I mean, I'll probably stick a little bit on him just So I can say I was on him if he does win. But like I say, hopefully the win knocks done him a world of good. And like I say, rare edition, obviously a fair favourite. Joe, it's like I say, it's a tight little handicap. So let me know what you're thinking, mate.
It is, mate, but I am leaning to bad as well. All points.
Oh my god, we're all crackers. This is crazy. This,
like I say, it won't be a massive bet, but he gets a lot of weight. It's all, you know, he come over from France and he was practically thrown in, wasn't he? And in the end, he was a disappointment. I know everyone backed him into 5-1, like Rich said. For me, the positive, Ben Jones is back on. He's carrying 10 stone 4, which is very, very light. First time cheek pieces as well, and first run after a wind up. I mean, it seems like they've just thrown the kitchen sink here, because I think they thought he's a lot better than this. They're trying everything on him this time. And I believe if he doesn't win this, then what can you win with him off this weight? Like I say, I won't be having anything massive. Irish Hill, obviously, Gav mentioned, is one that catches the eye. He won this last year. Freddie Gingerlon takes off the £5. He's roughly off similar weight to what he won it at. And to be honest, you know, when you get horses like that, you're never worried if they do have a bad spell before the return to a race of won the year before or previous years, because let's be honest, in horse racing, you know, they want the best mark for the days they're going to run and try and win. And that's the case with Irish Hill, I believe. For me, rare edition, yeah, worthy favourite, maybe a bit too short, because I think some of these in here are pretty well handicapped. For me, might be a small bet, like you said. I probably will have a little go on bad. You know, if he does win, I was on him.
Yeah, it'll just be as his name describes, but we shall see how he gets on. Love it. Right, if I've got this correct, then Rich, we're going to move over to Haydock 240. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're right.
So the Haydock 240 race, the Rendlesham Hurdle, and we've got Botox Hassan here currently as favourite. Pretty much same with Butch. A horse who just seems to keep on winning at the moment. Red Risk, Sounds Russian, Wackle, Martha Bray. Go on then, Rich, you can kick us off, mate. Which way have you gone? Is it Butch's to lose? What are you thinking? Botox Hass?
I think it's between those two, yeah. I mean, Botox has been running some grade ones. I mean, he's been finishing 6th in both of them, but he won the grade 2 at Wetherby over 3 miles. Same distance here. He likes the soft, heavy conditions. I think he's got a good chance. Similar to Butch, you know, he's got a £6 swing with Botox Hass. He's probably the improver. And he's won a novice over 3 miles back in October. So, yeah, it's going to be tough to split him, if I'm honest with you. I'd maybe just go on Butch just because of the weight swing, but yeah, I wouldn't have a massive opinion either way on those two.
Butch is one of them horses that I think is just grabbing the sort of the imagination of the crowd at the moment. He's a really nice, likeable horse who just keeps winning. Gav, I mean, what do you think? Are you going to side with Butch, or do you think something else can put it up to these top two?
Yeah, so for me, I'm a massive Butch fan. So a little bit like in the Waterside that we mentioned, this one's going to be kind of a chaser next season, isn't he? But he's progressing lovely over hurdles. He's sort of 3 out of 3. He hasn't done anything wrong, has he? He might have got a little bit fortunate at Cheltenham at one run where Ed Keeper hit the last. But he still went in the race, and you can't really fault him for another horse making a mistake. So yeah, I thought the fact that there was Botox House is obviously favourite. You got Red Risk in here as well. The thing that put me off is they haven't done anything that sort of wowed me in the last run or two. And their kind of most impressive form was when they were in the same race beating Dashel Trasher and Time Hill, wasn't it? But both of those horses were on their first run of the season. Obviously, they needed them. So I think that form probably just flatters them. Botox House he ran okay at Cheltenham. He was sort of 6th. He was only beaten, I think, 5.5 lengths. He hit the third last quite badly as well. So he might well win this. It's a bit of an Apple's Jade scenario, isn't it, where they've probably found the right race for him. But to be honest, when he's got to give £8 away to an improving horse like Butch, I think I'd rather side with Butch in all honesty. So yeah, on the fact that I don't rate that sort of first run of the season form, second run for them, first run for the big boys, I would kind of rule out Botox Has and Red Risk. Sounds Russian's probably just using it as a fitness run, isn't he, back over hurdles. And then Wackall and Martha Bray have got sort of plenty to find. So yeah, for me, I'd rather be with the progressive horse than something like Botox Has. It's kind of, you know where you stand with him. He has to give £8 away, and he's kind of a bit of a sitting duck for a progressive one, isn't he?
Yeah, I completely agree with you there, mate. I think you've hit nail on head, and that's why I sided with Butch as well. And I'm looking forward to Apple's Jade making a coming out of retirement. By the way, you
Apple away, sorry. Yeah.
If only she was as good.
To be honest, you throw me off. Since we had that second race skip to the third one, I've gone.
Well, I always catch everyone's mistakes. I just and I like to listen very carefully. So yeah, but yeah, I'm agreeing with you there, and I think I'm going to side with Butch. I think the weight allowance there that he gets. Sean Bowen's obviously flying at the moment. Ollie Murphy, I think he's doing nothing wrong. I know obviously head keeper was probably unlucky. I was on head keeper that day. I was absolutely seething. We still don't know whether he would have even stayed up that hill like Butch did. So I think I'm happy to stick with him. Joe, are you going to pile in with Butch as well?
To be honest, mate, I'm not piling in anything. There's 11.
Bet responsibly, everyone, obviously.
Yeah, there's £11 difference ratings wise. Butch gets £6, so Butch has got about £5 to make up. The way he's improving, you'd like to think he's going to serve it up to Botox has. Like you say, has his form worked out this season? I mean, it has worked out pretty well, but I wouldn't say been beaten comfortably every time, but he has been beaten. I thought his Cheltenham run wasn't bad at all. For me, they've probably found a race to get him in, and it's a grade 2 to his name. I wouldn't be surprised if Botox. I'm going to nail my colours too. Botox has, I think. He's got the form with the big boys, hasn't he? Obviously, won that second race of the season for him. That was a slog. I think Butch has it all to do. Botox has. You wouldn't be surprised either way if Butch goes on and beats him. You'd say, well, Botox has looks pretty exposed. And then the other way on, you'd say, well, Butch had to improve £5. He's up against a steer who's mixed it with the big boys this year. And we know what the steering division is like this year. Apart from Ireland, it is a bit of a vintage 12-year-old race. So he's pretty young for a steer, isn't he? 8-year-old Botox has. For me, yeah, I am going to nail my colours too. Botox has. He takes the beating anyway, whether he does win or not. He does take the beating.
Oh, fair enough, mate. If you want to go that way, that's up to you. And hopefully it's a good race between them anyway. Right, next one then, lads. The Ascot 3 o'clock handicap chase over 3 mile. Now, this is obviously a very, very tasty little race with some nice horses in here. Victorino is currently in his favourite. Been backed into 7-2, 300 through 5. The Cobden Nichols team. Could be a decent Saturday for connections here. Iron Bridge is entered in here. I think he's also entered in the Grand National Trial, I believe. So whether he goes here for John Joe, I'm not too sure. But Shamblu, Revels Hill, and sort of 11-1 the rest. I'll start with you then, Joe, since you finished on that last one. Obviously, we've been on Victorino in the past. Are you going to give him a chance to win this one?
I am, mate. He's been hammered in, hasn't he? I think, is he about 7-2 now, I think?
Yeah, he's currently best price 7-2.
Yeah, for me, he was disappointing the last day, wasn't he? If you watch the race back, they kept him, Charlie Deutsch kept him wide. And I think, I think I wouldn't say it was a bad ride, but I feel like they thought he was that well in. And I believe the owners come over from America or something to watch the race. I believe that they thought he was that well in and he'd win that well that they sort of kept him out wide. So he'd get in no danger. And in the end, he's just flattened out. But I feel like, he comes in here, he's back up to 3 mile where he won, the last twice before his disappointment at Cheltenham, both being at Ascot as well. He's, course and distance winner. Yeah, he's up in the weights, but for me, he's still an improving horse. The price has gone on him now, hasn't he? He opened up 11-2. He's now into 7-2. But I feel like, you're looking through 305 might trouble him. But for me, Victorino's going to take all the beating here. I know it's boring with a favourite in a handicap, but for me, I just think he does take all the beating. Bringing him back to Ascot in a 3 mile handicap chase, exactly what he's done twice before and done it pretty comfortably as well. I think, there is a lot more improvement in him.
Yeah, that's a fair point, mate. I mean, I'll come to you, Gav. I mean, are you siding with Joe, or have you found something further down?
Yeah, to be honest, I'd say Victorino is definitely kind of a worthy favourite, isn't he? It's one of those where I'd say he is the most likely winner, but I would be backing him at 7-2. he impressed me the last time. I think the time before last, wasn't it, when it was kind of he won on good ground over the sort of course and distance. And I thought the fact that he could do it on good ground, I just thought when he gets back on soft, he's probably got even more up his sleeve. So yeah, that impressed me a lot. To be honest, I'd be pretty sweet on Ironbridge if he did show up here. I think he's about 5-1. And whichever race he went in, whether he goes for this or the Grand National Trial, I'd be pretty keen on him. He was unlucky not to beat that autonomous cloud. You talked to him March last year, and then that one went on and won next time out as well. 2 mile 4 was just too short on his reappearance. It's clearly just a run to get him warmed up for the Welsh Grand National. And then obviously that was just attritional, wasn't it? And he just couldn't lay a glove on Nassalam. But I just liked his attitude to stick with it. Obviously, a lot of the horses pulled up and just kind of threw the towel in, whereas he just stuck to it and managed to finish second, albeit a distant one. So yeah, I'd be interested if he comes here. I'd probably be even more interested if he went for the Grand National Trial over the longer distance. And the other one that did interest me, if it did come up more on the sort of proper soft side, was Revels Hill at 17-2. So he's a proper sort of out-and-out stayer. And he's ran 2 solid races here. So one was over 2 mile 5, which was behind Your Darling, which would have been too short for him. And then he had a sort of staying on third over 3 miles as well. And I think both of those come off a mark of 1:37, and he runs off that mark on Saturday as well. So yeah, he'd be one at a bigger price, I think about 17-2. But yeah, Victorino is definitely the one to beat.
Yeah, I think you are right then, and same as Joe. I mean, obviously we were on Victorino a couple of runs ago, and he was a really good winner. I think the conditions are going to suit him. Like I say, a bit of money has come for him, which is obviously it's not obviously a good sign, but I don't think 72 is too bad. And I have got a comment I'm just going to stick up here. George is on. He's put, what did I miss? Everyone's going with Larry, right? Surely we're having an each-way play on Larry, the old elder statesman with cannon on board. George, is he flying? Is he ready to win? Fingers crossed. But
Goshen wins, George, doesn't he?
And Racing Gav has put, what a hero Victorino is. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to side with Victorino. Like I say, it's a little bit boring in here. I do think, he's put a comment up there as well saying 300 through 5 wants a lot. Well, he wants 19 miles. Not sure he wants 19 miles, but I do think he wants a pretty decent trip. But yeah, I think, like I say, sort of put a line through that last run for Victorino. I think he takes all the beating in this, so I'll side with him. A couple of quid each way on, probably about 10p each way on Larry George, I think, if you're watching, mate. I don't think we'll be putting too much on him, although he did win well for us last time out. But yeah, see how he runs. Rich, which way are you siding then? Are you going to be on Victorino as well or something else?
Yeah, 300 through 5 is just too high in the ratings for me. Victorino is the one I'm landing on. Dropped back to 2 mile 4. Obviously didn't really suit him. He won twice at the track over this distance. Yeah, I just think he's quite solid.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. Let's come up for Victorino then. I'm going to put this comment up here. George, you might know then. Quick question is put. It's pretty decent form. First time blinkers on Goshen. Do you know what the idea behind that is then? Is that expecting it to add £12 to him or what? Let us know if you can give us
sharpen him up, James.
To sharpen him up? Chuffing
Yeah.
hell. Oh dear, he's an absolute nutcase. Love him.
He wins.
Right then, so moving on. Love that. Come on, Victorino. Haydock then, the 3:15, which is obviously the Grand National Trial, and we have Ironbridge in here as currently his favourite. Famous Bridge as well. Same owners, different trainer. My Silver Linings in here with James Beston from Lavelle. Credo at 7-1. I will do it at 7-1 and bigger the rest. Go on then, Gav. I'll come to you as soon as you mentioned Ironbridge. Do we think he takes all the beating in this?
Yeah, exactly. So if he come here, I'd be really sweet on Ironbridge. I think it's about 11-2 for it. Basically the same reasoning as before. And then, yeah, the other one that did catch my slightly bigger price was Man at about 8-1, I think he was. He impressed me when he kind of stayed on behind Victorino last time. And he did the same the time before, if you remember, but he come down at the last. And he just shaped as if he'll enjoy this longer trip. He's always kind of outpaced. He's properly deep in the field, and then he stays on really well. They stuck first-time cheek pieces on him. And I doubt Gavin Cromwell's coming over for the sort of the day out. I think he must think he has a good chance. And he's only just turned 7 as well, so there could be sort of plenty more to come from him.
Yes, and Sean Flanagan on there. Obviously, he was on our show the other week. He's obviously got a nice little ride there. So fingers crossed he runs well for the Cromwell team. I'm kind of with you there. I think the Ironbridge is probably the most likely winner. Like I say, beat everything last time out by Nassalam. You know, it's a standout performance. Yeah, I'm in completely agreement with you there, to be honest, and that's kind of the other way I went. Obviously, Chambard's the one. I'll just give a quick mention to who I tipped him up for the Aintree race that he won a big prize. So hoping he runs well. But in all honesty, I'll probably be solely on Iron Bridge, and hopefully John Joe can give him a peach of a ride. He can finally get his head in front, because I don't think there isn't really an hassle I'm in here. So I think I'll stick with him. Joe, which way are you swaying, my friend?
I agree. I do like Iron Bridge. Obviously, for obvious reasons, sorry. But one I looked at a bigger price was Highland Hunter, 12-1. He come from Paul Nicholls to Fergal O'Brien. He ran at Kelso in a 3 mile 2 handicap chase. And he was beaten by Elvis Mill. He was only beaten by 2 lengths. If you watch the race back, he was short of room. It was a bit of a messy finish. Bruce Lynn took £3 off Elvis Mill. So he was giving him about I think it was £7 in the end. Then he went to Aintree in the Beaches handicap chase, and he was running a good race until he fell. He just ditched Paddy Brennan off. Then they threw him in at Lingfield over 2 mile 6. And when you look through, he's raced for Paul Nicholls over 3 mile 7, 3 mile 6, 3 mile 5, 4 mile 2, 2 mile 7 was his sharpest trip. And I just think upping him in trip here, first time tongue strap and cheek pieces. Tom Broughton on, who takes £7 off. He's had one winner. He's had one winner this week already. I know he's 11-year-old, but I just feel like they try and they might have picked this one up and put him in here. He's only carrying 11 stone 3, which is a pretty low weight compared to the 11 stone 10. A good claimer on board there. I just think at 12-1, they might try and make the running with this lad, and he might just get away. I just think it's a big place, to be honest. When you look through his form and where he's ran, this race looks to suit.
No, fair cop, could be a nice little shout, that. Rich, what are your thoughts then, mate? I think some nice picks there.
I like Famous Bridge in this.
Famous Bridge?
Famous Bridge, yeah. Last time out of Doncaster, the ground was too good. This guy needs a proper test. It's heavy at Haydock. I was impressed with his win that came at... it was at Haydock, actually, over 3 miles 1 last... where was it? On the handicap chase, beating Burroughs Diamond. I just think this guy's an out-and-out stayer. I think the tougher it is, the better for him. And yeah, I don't think he'll be out of the places, put it that way.
That's a fair shout, mate. We'll see how they go. Like I say, I love these Grand National trials. They're all good races. I'll just throw a couple of these comments up. Rain it in, lads. We're on. Good evening, lads. He's put Cromwell/Flanagan. Yeah, it could be a tasty little Irish raid there. And Racing Ellis, what we put on here, mate? I wanted Man to go to the Kimya, to be honest. He was a decent price for that. I'll probably bet him there. Yeah, well, we'll see how he gets on at the weekend and see if he ends up there, my friend. Right then, we're going to come on to the last race, the big one, the Ascot Chase. Obviously a very tasty race. Let me get it up. 1 second. So we have Lahon Press. He's coming here over 2 mile 5. You've got Pic D'Orhy, Ascot Specialist, Ahoy Signor, absolute whirlwind of an horse, Sail Away. Come on then, Gav, you can kick us off with this last final race. Is it just Lahon Presses to win, or are we thinking this could not suit him?
To be honest, it probably should be, shouldn't it? On ratings, it should be. But it's not a race that would sort of appeal for me at all for a bet anyway. You'd worry it's back to sort of 2 mile 5, isn't it? And 8-11 just looks skinny enough. And I'd also worry that obviously he had a long time off. And sometimes the horses can kind of bounce second run out, can't they? So yeah, that between the trip and the bounce factor, 8-11 would worry me. And I wouldn't want to kind of get involved. If I had to have a bet, I'd probably choose Pic D'Orhy, just to be so proven over sort of the course and distance. Obviously, Paul Nicholls knows how to kind of target these valuable races to go for the sort of Trainers' Championship. Cobden will on it for the sort of Jockeys' Championship. So yeah, you would imagine he's going to be sort of primed for his life for this run. Because when you look at it, sort of Lahon Presses is probably just a kind of a Gold Cup tune-up, isn't it? And it's nice if they can pick it up. Ahoy Senor, I think they said they're going for the Ryanair, didn't they? So again, probably just a tune-up for that, and it's nice if they can pick it up. And then that Sail Away is just purely here to pick up $9,000 or whatever it is for coming fourth, isn't it? So you can probably just draw a line through that one. So yeah, where they've all kind of got other targets, or you just run in to pick up your fourth place prize money, then Pic D'Orhy's here and properly going for it. So yeah, 9-4, I would side with Pic D'Orhy personally.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think as much as I like the home press, and I think he's got a little bit of an outside chance in a Gold Cup for the places. Not necessarily going to win, but I think just to drop him back in trip. Obviously, his return run, it looked like he needed every yard of the trip. You're backing on trust that he's not, like you say, he's not going to bounce. How well has he come out of that race? Obviously, he'd not raced for a while. Will he be able to put a couple of runs together? We don't really know. And backing him odds on is a bit of a risk. Like I said there, I think Pictor, he's always going to be primed for these sort of races. These are his bread and butter races. Obviously, won plenty at Ascot before. I think the triple suit him fine. I think he could probably get the home press it off it pretty well. And the home press may well pick him up later on, potentially. But obviously, that's a big question mark. So I think I'd probably side with Pictor as well. The price is a Hoist Senior is a horse I've backed in the past many a time. But he just is one I've only ever backed him when he's lost, and I've only ever not backed him when he's won. So you know what'll happen here. But I'm going to leave him alone. And like I say, Sail Away is there to pick up the prize money. So, Rich, which way are you going to side? Are we all going to land on Pictor?
Yeah, I'm in the same thinking as Gav. All these other horses, like the home press, he's not going to have a hard time before he runs in the Gold Cup. I just think Pictor is the Ascot specialist, isn't he? Cobden on board. He wants the wins for the title. I just think it's his race. He just wins for me.
Yeah. What about you then, Joe? You going to make a case for anything else?
No, mate. I just can't see La Press getting beat. To be honest, I think he's just a better horse than Pictor. He's a course and distance winner last season in the December, and he was out, I believe, at Exeter about 15 days before. So I wouldn't be too worried with a bounce back. For me, I just think if they've got any hope of going to the Gold Cup, then I know he might not be targeted for this, but for me, he's got to be beaten. He's £8 better rating wise. I think there's improvement still to come from the home press. For me, I can't see him beat. Although I wouldn't be backing him at that price in a field, in a 4-runner field. It's not something I would do, but for me, I think the home press.
No worries then, mate. Like I say, it's not really a massive betting race. It's more of a watching brief. But if you wanted to have a bit of interest, I'd probably stick it on Pictor and see what happens. Love it, right? And that's it, done for the main races. Now, what we normally do next is we go for the anything else. And I don't know if I told you that, Gav, actually. But so what I'll do is we normally just, if you've got anything else you'd like to mention for the weekend, now's the chance. But what I'll do is I'll come to Rich first because he's normally got a list as long as his arm for this section. I used to do when we were doing the flat. It's not so much for the jumps. But have you got anything else you'd like to mention, Rich, that you may be keeping your eye on? For the interesting things,
I've got 4. I mean,
only 4.
Only 4. 3 are no price whatsoever, unfortunately. But I'll still mention them. Tomorrow at Fakenham at 4:50, you got Farland running in the bumper, I think it is. Second to Union Avenue and third to Games's Guy for Green on Guerrero that we obviously quite like. You got Salva in the 2:10 at Haydock, a horse that Twitter keeps mentioning as a well handicapped horse. Again, odds on, potentially runs in the Triumph at Cheltenham. Saturday again, 2:17 Lantry Lady. Looked quite smart last time out. Only had the 1 run. I think that was back in March. Potentially could be very useful. And lastly, the 4:25 at Haydock. Great Pepper runs, making his hurdles debut in a Grade 2, I think it is. Obviously, we had Charlotte on the Cheltenham show of the week, mentioned it as one to follow. Steps up to 3 miles. It's got an Albert Bartlett entry, but I think they're going to Aintree. I think that's got mentioned. But I think he's about 12-1, so he might be a decent each way bet in that. And that's all I have.
Fantastic. We'll keep it out for all them. Joe, have you got anything you'd like to mention?
No, Salva was the one for tomorrow. I know he's obviously being talked about a lot. George has been pretty positive about him, hasn't he? But as soon as he got the mark, saying he was one of their best for this season in terms of handicapping wise. And then the other ones on Saturday at Haydock, Green on Guerrero, win to the Lightning. I thought he was a bit unlucky the last day. I know he's got it all to put up against you, wear it well. And I think it's only a 5-runner field. He was 9-2. He's now 11-4. But sorry, yeah. But I just, for me, I would not be surprised if she looks the improving type. We've seen Green on Guerrero horses that do improve a lot. I know she's got it all to do against you, wear it well. But what has you wear it well been a bit disappointing this season? Yes, Has Winter Lightning been improving? Yes, 500 race, anything can happen. You know, it's only a listed race, and You Wear It Well carries a £4 penalty, I believe. Don't get me wrong, 11-4 is pretty short, but should be bang there.
Love it. We'll keep an eye on them and hopefully they all go in. I'm looking forward to Winter the Lightning, to be fair. See just how good she could be if she can improve to get up to You Wear It Well. I think it's a good run. Go on then, Gav. Is there anything else you'd like to mention before we do our naps? And then we'll have a little bit of a pop at a charity bet.
To be honest, I only had a look through the races that we were covering, so I haven't got anything for any other races. I was just having a quick look then, and like Joe said, You Wear It Well looks to have that mare's hurdle on ratings. The only kind of niggle, it's getting to that time of year, isn't it? Is it kind of more of a tune up towards the actual mare's hurdle? So yeah, I wouldn't be backing it at 8 to 11, but for in terms of actually going to Cheltenham for the mare's hurdle, you'd want to be seeing her win that quite well. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to go for the rest of them, unfortunately.
Fair enough, mate. It's probably my fault. I forgot to put it on the end of the message, but no problem there. Right then, so we'll do a nap each. So our best bets of the weekend, if we can. I'll come to you first, Rich. Who is your nap of the weekend?
I'm gonna go for. I'll not go for Goshen, unfortunately. I'll go for Victorino. I think he's a good one.
Fantastic. Gav, have you got a nap for the weekend, my friend?
Yeah, I'll stick up Irish Hill in that handicap hurdle at Ascot at 9 to 1.
Love that. That is a juicy price for a nap. I'm all for that. Love it. Go on then, Joe. Who's your nap?
Colonel Mustard for me, mate. In the 205.
I'm liking this. Oh, you've thrown me off. So Colonel Mustard for you. I will go for. Oh, you've thrown me off now. I'll go for Butch. I think Butch will be my nap. I think. I mean, to be fair, all three of them you've mentioned there have all got great chances, and I'll stick with Butch, and that'll do me for my nap. Right, lads. We obviously, as we well know, we finish on a bit of a charity bet. We've done pretty well lately. We managed to pick up a little bit of money for some of these charities, which is fantastic. Rich, I'll come to you first, mate. Charity bet. Who are you going for this? Did yours land last week? I can't remember now.
No, I can't remember what let me down, but no, it didn't.
Oh, sorry about that, mate. Well, make up for it this weekend. What's your charity bet if you've got one?
I'm going to do a treble.
Look at them all trying to chase the big treble. You know, it takes a lot of nous to land a treble. You know, I mean, who's landed a treble before? Go on, mate. Yeah, go on.
In the Waterside, Apple away, and Victorino treble is my bet.
Chuffing hell! What do you think of that, Joe?
Well, I thought he was reading mine out there because I've got a treble as well.
You on the same treble?
I'm on Colonel Mustard in the Waterside and Victorino win treble.
It's a shame Goshen lets that down, Joe, for yours.
Gav, I mean, I don't know if you're going to put up a bit of a charity bet. I don't know if I've thrown you off. Are you thinking of anything, or?
Yeah, I'll stick one on, and I'll go ambitious as well because we've got to land some big numbers, haven't we? So I'll have an each way double on the two that I liked in the handicap. So one was Irish Hill at 9 to 1, and the other was Yeah Man at 8 to 1 in that Grand National Trial. So an 89 to 1 double.
Wow, that is absolutely insane. I would be crossing every single thing I've got for that to land. So yeah, for me then, what am I going to have here? I'm going to go for
a short even single, James. Is that what you're going for?
I'm going to go for I'm going to say Apple away to place. I think it's a good one there. No, I think I will go for. I tell you what I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for Butch in the Waterside. No, I'm not. Oh my God, my notes are all over here, lads. Right, I'm going to go for Iron Bridge. Sorry, that's in the Grand National Trial. I think he takes all the beating, and my other one, I was going to do a double. Where have I written this here now?
I think you need to start sorting your notes out, James.
My notes are shocking, lads. I'm not going to lie. Sorry for keeping you all here, but I'm going to go for Butch and Iron Bridge double. I'm not going to be too ambitious because I've already landed the big one, so we're just trying to get a little bit extra for them. So you lads have got it all to do to catch up. But yeah, that'll do me, and we'll stick those up on Twitter and things like that. And fingers crossed we can win a bit of money for the chosen charities. Right, that's it then. Another show done. Gav, thank you very much for coming on, mate. We do appreciate it. Have you had a good time joining us and the lads?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on it. It's been a pleasure. Just one question on the chatty bet. What stakes do you guys usually do? I was just going to put mine on now before I forget.
Normally do a £10 win, or if you're doing if you're doing each way, £5 each way, or we normally do a tenner, so whatever you want to put on, really.
All right, perfect.
Probably £5 each way for yours, with it being an each way, a big each way one. I did £10 win on a 63-1 treble when I did mine. So if you want to go win, you can do. But
I've got it in the bets now, £5 each way. But now you've said it, I'm going to have to change it to a tenner win. So go big or go home, isn't it?
You've not
Still can't
mentioned
believe
that
that
trouble
one,
before,
to be honest.
James. Is that,
You what, Rich?
You've not mentioned that trouble before. Is that a recent thing or?
Well, I can't remember who was in it. Who was in it? Was it Nurse Susan, White
Rhino.
Rhino, and Shanna Bob? I believe it was. So yeah, it was a pretty decent treble. Didn't
Yeah,
get in there, Gav. He's got it on. There we
Yeah,
go. Love that. Love that.
Love it.
The only funny thing was I didn't actually back it myself, so that's the only reason why I never backed the charity bet myself, because it just puts the mocker on it. As soon as I put my own money on it on side, it normally gets beat. So I'll be putting that on and leaving it for the charity to win. But yeah, Gav, like I say, cheers for coming on, mate. We do appreciate it, and it's been a good evening with you, Rich and Joe. Have you anything you'd like to say before we leave?
Thanks for coming on again, Gav. Coming on, Gav. We've had some brilliant guests, and obviously you're another one to talk about, dissect the handicaps. Fingers crossed we can land some charity bets, because they are pretty tasty this week.
Yeah,
Rich?
some good racing this week. So let's see how it goes. Bet responsibly, of course. So
Always bet responsibly, yeah, definitely.
But
But yeah,
don't
thank
drink
you.
responsibly.
You what?
I said, but don't drink responsibly.
Oh no, I'll be having a few pots on Saturday. Don't you worry about that. And obviously, going into next week, then we'll be back on Monday night with another Cheltenham show. We're trying to get a couple of guests lined up again for that. We've got some other bits coming up on our socials later on sort of Sunday, Monday time. So keep an eye out for that. There's some good content coming your way. Like I always say, subscribe to the channel if you can. We do appreciate the support. It's obviously growing, and we're having a good time doing it. So, yeah, thanks again, Rich, Joe, Gav. I'll let you all go, and we'll see you all again next time. Thank you and goodbye.
Perfect. Cheers lads.